turn on the news, I mean, you see the inspiration from it pretty much. I mean, and not just, you know, current events.
Historical, history.
Hey.
We had a song in the past called "If Trees Could Talk."
Right.
It's gonna be.
And that was.
There's always interesting because I'm married to a black woman and he's married to a mixed race, but society would see her as a white woman. And so when we look at those perspectives, that's another unique thing about our relationship is we think through racial issues, especially considering the climate right now because of Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, all this stuff stacking up on each other. We think through those things differently than a lot of people who just go, this is what I think about it.
Right.
And that's not saying that my perspective is right or better or supreme. It's just saying, like, I have an opinion, and my opinion is influenced by an uncommon worldview and experience. I grew up with a mixed race sister. My wife is black, his wife is white, he has mixed race children. I don't have any kids yet, but I've already started to think through some of the issues that I'm gonna have with that. And that's not a common American experience, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in general too, I think we also have the strength of, I don't want to speak on black issues because I don't own those. I don't live that life. So when I'm speaking on that song, I'm speaking specifically to white people. And I almost want to pinch people in the face. And so some of it is inflammatory on purpose. You know what I mean? Broad strokes. I say white neighborhoods don't face the same issues as black neighborhoods. That's not always true. But it's true enough at the time for me to be able to say it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I sat down and talked to somebody, I got a lot of white friends that I grew up with, like, we didn't have it good. I'm like, I get it. I feel you. I didn't have it the greatest. You know what I'm saying? But if you move to these places where, like, this SAE thing is going down, like, those white people are the ones who need to hear, like, no, you guys don't know what it's like.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to speak directly to them, whereas he gets to say, well, what about black on black violence? What are we doing to each other? And that's not my place to speak about that. So we also have it's a unique ability to just be able to speak to two very different groups of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like it all happened at, you know, it's like the perfect storm kind of situation.
And it wasn't intentional.
It definitely wasn't.
Like, we didn't have anything. That song was written way before the Michael Brown thing. They actually, when it happened, the label, not the label because they wouldn't do that, but the conversation became, should we drop this song now in response to this incident happen? And I was like, I don't want it to look like a gimmick or like something like we're trying to capitalize off of some young man's murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we held on to that song for as long as we could till we started having to promote the album. We did a tour last year, and the majority of the faces I saw were white kids.
Yeah.
And so I've just come to realize that hip hop is black music. Always has been, right? It was created from a context that's majority black. The black condition, as far as society-wise, created this genre of music. And so I've realized we're making black music for white kids. Everywhere we go, it's nothing but white kids. And so for me, when I think through it, I'm like, yes, I need to say this because I'm in front of y'all constantly. Y'all invite me to your churches. Y'all come to my shows, buy the tickets, buy the CD. Like, I want you to hear what I have to say about this. Yeah. Because it's easy to get on stage and it's easy to keep going to churches and keep doing regular, just standard Christian hip hop and never address these kind of things, and then keep getting invited to white churches, making money. You know, you get your honorarium and you're out the door. So let's keep doing these regular songs. And I'm not saying that anybody else has to do what we're doing. I also think that what we're doing is going to become trendy because you got guys like Lecrae saying Welcome to America and Dirty Water. You got this Kendrick Lamar album. And so I don't want it to be a trend. I want people to do what they do. I just had a conversation with The Truth, one of my good friends, I would say now. And he's like, man, I do songs for the body. Like, I do music for the church. That's not what I'm trying to do anymore. You see what I'm saying? I'm also not opposed to it. I'm never going to turn down a church. You know what I mean? Like, I love the church. I love the Lord. It's where I want to stay. But songs like that, from our experiences on the road, I'm like, this needs to be said. Yeah. We get to be in front of y'all enough. And at the end of the day, like, it's the and this is a broad stroke. And I already know this is going to be taken out of context, but there are legitimate racists in the country, right? And they have children, and their progeny is going to go on to be racist. So the thought process is as soon as you're past 30 years of age, you know what I mean? That's the racist people. They're all old and they're gonna die soon. As soon as they die, that worldview's gonna die with them. And then SAE happens, and you realize these are 18-year-old kids. Where did that come from? So racism isn't dead. You see what I'm saying? And so for me, I'm going, most of the people at our shows are teenagers. So I have to say this. I feel a burden, but I don't want anybody else to feel that burden. It's mine.
Unless they feel the burden.
Yeah. And then if you do, I feel like you need to do something about it.
Straight up. Yeah. So album comes out April 28th.
Yeah.
It's called Southern Lights Overexposed. Wake Up Music is the first single. Tour coming shortly after.
Yep. Yep. Trying to get back on the road.
You know,
get in front of some more white kids.
Yeah, in Canada.
Just kidding. Woo! I love white people. My whole family is white. That's another thing. Listen, that's another thing. Listen. People hear songs like that, and I'm gonna address Swoop's verse real quick too, because people have been going, y'all hate the police.
He does this all the time.
One of my best friends is a police officer. Some other close friends are police officers and sheriffs in Atlanta. I'm not speaking about individual police. I'm talking about the institution of policing,
right.
Or Swoop is talking about. But I'm not thinking of a specific person when them bars are coming. It's not like, oh, I hate the police, I hate this person and that person, and they all stink, like they're all bad. I'm also not saying that police are hunting black people. It's deeper than that. So when you listen to Swoop's lines, when you listen to my lines, I'm not going all white people. My whole family is white. I have friends who are police, so I'm not pointing these, ridiculous fingers. You know what I mean? It's with a purpose. You have to see through that. People, and then the other thing is that song is in the context of a full-length album. There's other stuff being said. So people are like, where's the hope? The hope is on the next song. You just gotta get there. You know what I'm saying? But that song has a purpose, and we put it out, and I'm confident that it'll fulfill its purpose. You know what I mean? Lord willing.
Yeah, the name of the song is called Wake Up. So, I mean,
it's intentionally speaking to people who are gonna disagree with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why I said this inflammatory, broad brushstrokes for a reason, for a purpose.
Yeah.
Rapzilla.com.
I hope y'all get 1 million views on this mug.